I'm Kamerie Gibson. Welcome to the Kamerie Gibson Show, the podcast. I believe that one of the most precious gifts you can share with someone is your story. Pain has purpose and stories can change lives. Your journey to become more inspired and transformed by the lives of those around us starts now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kamerie Gibson Show, where we talk about transforming pain into power. And today I have a special guest with me here today. Her name is Aleeyah Sanders. Aleeyah, would you mind introducing yourself to the audience for me, please?
Yes, hey everybody. My name is Aleeyah Sanders. I am the founder of a 20-acre up-and-coming holistic community in Arizona called Black Dream Camp.
You know, Aleeyah, when I was thinking about the name of Black Dream Camp, I'm like, you can just like miss it, but it's just something about the Black dream, the Black imagination that is just so precious. And I know going to an HBCU, it definitely helps nurture that. Can you talk about the name of the camp and why you chose that name?
Yeah, definitely. So the name Black Dream Camp. So firstly, we spell Black BLK, and so that's an acronym for one, yes, for Black, and also stands for Black Love Kintsakori. So Kintsakori is a Japanese word for pottery. So you take like a pottery bowl and you break it. And so when it's broken, you mend it back together with gold. And it said that it's better to have been broken and mended with gold than to never have been broken in the first place. So that's a representation of us, our people. So we've been broken so many times, but yet here we are, still we rise. We've been mended with gold. We are the gold people. So Black Love Kintsakori is the perfect way to describe us. And so Dream Camp comes into play with 20 acres of land being an open canvas. We can create anything that we want here. This is our place to be, to thrive, to be in nature, and like an incubator for our goals. We help each other out. It's a place where we don't have barriers of entry. There's no gatekeeping, things like that. So, yeah, Black Dream Camp. Also, it's in nature, so we camp out, we glamp. We're building a holistic community with natural buildings, and yeah, so that's how we determine the name.
What does holistic mean exactly? What does that mean to you all? What can it mean for others?
Yeah, holistic is a term for all natural, so all natural, all wellness. So how we use the term is we facilitate wellness in everything that we do. So um, holistic natural buildings. So we're starting to build structures from the earth, from the ground. So one of our next builds is a super adobe structure. So we're going to take sandbags and dirt and make a structure out of it. But yes, holistic in everything we do. We believe in wellness. We will have like wellness practitioners come out. We have yoga teacher trainings. We have one coming up at the end of June. But yeah, just pure nature, pure natural, holistic and whole.
What about being natural was important to you?
Good question. So in society today, there's so many things that are fake, when you go to the grocery store, what says it's organic is not really organic. So even your vegan products are grown in labs nowadays that are mass produced. Just a lot of things are fake. A lot of things are not real. And so we're living in a time of AI. We're living in a time of, tech versus human. And we are definitely on the human side, the natural side, really tapping into nature because we are nature. We're made of the same matter and material of nature. Um, so, in order to fulfill our dream, in order to fulfill our true success, we have to tap into nature. We have to, you know, um, tap into everything that we are and to be everything that we are. So that's why natural is very important. It's important to be natural so that we can be healthy. We need to know what is organic, what is not organic. Um, yeah, because we need to be our whole being, whole selves, um, and promote health.
I love what you said about tapping into everything we are in order to discover, in order to discover who we are. I think that's what
Yeah.
you said. Okay. Have people not been doing that around you, or like, what about it? What have you seen like around you that made you say that? Or
Yeah. In the past, definitely, I've seen, people who haven't, tapped into everything that they are. It's really hard to do so when you're coming up because a lot of times fear mindset can creep in. When I was younger, in college at Tuskegee University, um, and even younger, when I tried to, venture out into any type of like business or anything like that, um, the people around me, had like some type of fear mindset, even though like they were trying to protect me. Um, you know, uh, it was they didn't want me to take the full jump, to be my full self because, I could fall, I could fail. But at the end of the day, it's okay to fail because you're going to fail forward. But definitely that has happened in the past. Um, I'm starting to attract, people who are, willing to take the leap and jump with me as well. But yes, definitely in the past and still a little bit currently. There's uh, people who aren't like, tapped into their full self yet, but they definitely, will. So
okay, so first of all, that's real for you to say all that you just said right now, too, for real. Um, they'll get there eventually. We all will.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
we all will. What about Tuskegee University called you to attend it, and what makes you proud to have gone to that university?
Definitely, definitely. So I'm from Sacramento, California. So like the HBCU culture was definitely new to me. So how I ended up going there was they came out to California as like a recruitment fair. And so they were telling me all about the school, the Tuskegee Airmen, everything that they had to offer, like the construction degree, architecture, things like that. And so I decided to apply, and I ended up getting a scholarship, like a small merit scholarship, to go there. And so when I attended, I originally majored in architecture because my family, um, my mom is a real estate investor. She invests a little bit still. My aunt was a real estate developer, and my uncle is a contractor in Stockton, California. So, just growing up, seeing all of them, interact in real estate and construction, like that really inspired me. And so I was a part of organizations in high school that centered around architecture and construction. So I was like, yeah, that's what I want to go into in college. And Tuskegee University is the only Black college university, only HBCU that offers architecture and construction. So I was like, definitely, I want to attend Tuskegee. So I originally majored in architecture, but then realized I wanted to get more hands-on feel of the projects and things like that. So I switched my major to construction, which was a really good idea. Um, Tuskegee, I can say a lot about Tuskegee. It's very in a very rural town, and so that really opened my eyes to a lot of things. So like we didn't have a Walmart, we didn't have a lot of stores, barely any restaurants. We had like a McDonald's, and that's about it. You know, so we were definitely in a food desert, everything desert. Um, but that really like molded me and shaped me into you have to create your own resources. Um, so yeah, going to Tuskegee, I was looking around and seeing like the state of the community. And so there was a lot of abandoned houses, you know, as students, we were staying in like not the best housing and things like that. And so like a lot of my friends are staying in like on couches and in their cars, myself included. So I was like, somebody needs to do something about this. So I decided to save up my refund checks. I applied to like a lot of grants, scholarships, and some like student loans and things like that, and saved up my money to where I can get a consistent like refund check. And so, because the housing was very cheap in the area, I decided to buy an abandoned house. Um, and the house that I purchased was on the abatement list, which means it's on the list to be torn down by the city. So um, when I purchased it, I submitted a plan to the city, like, don't tear this house down. I'm about to renovate it and make, something out of it. So with that, the house needed a new roof, needed a new plumbing, electrical, everything. So I redid that. Um, since I had like some construction skills, that I learned from my family, I renovated the house and invited my friends along with me. Since I was a part of a lot of community service organizations on campus, and taught them, construction skills, and then wrote them community service letters in return. So um, yeah, with that, we renovated the house, redid the roof, electrical foundation, all of that. And then I started staying in one of the rooms, renting out the other two rooms, uh, and taught my friends how to invest in real estate as well. Um, and really like made something out of it. We kept like going house after house after that, encouraged alumni to invest and whatnot. But yeah, Tuskegee is definitely was definitely memorable. Tried to make the most out of it, and it was fun as well, and definitely a stepping stone for me in my career. So yeah,
Ooh, nice and oh my gosh, so precious. I love me some good stories and
yeah,
inspiration behind everything, and just knowing that you were taking initiative and you still kept pushing forward, despite what I'm sure people around you may have thought was possible. Um, what, who is Booker T. Washington, and what did he mean to you?
yes. So Booker T. Washington is the founder and first principal of Tuskegee University. When he founded it, it was called Tuskegee Normal School, as Booker T. Washington was a freed slave. So when he founded it, it was a school for other freed slaves to learn English, like how to read and write, how to teach, and also learn how to do construction and architecture and agriculture. So we were the hub for all of the major things like construction, agriculture, and teaching. So Booker T. Washington was a person who was really a genius, in which he set up everything that a person needed to survive, to create a community. Um, Tuskegee University, even Tuskegee Normal School, is set up on 500 acres of land. And with that, he enterprised a lot of other people who were major in their fields, like George Washington Carver, who is famous for finding, over 100 ways to use a peanut. Um, but Booker T. Washington spearheaded the construction of every single building. He taught people how to make buildings, how to make clay or bricks out of clay. So Tuskegee is centered on a clay mine, and so the students made the buildings by hand. Tuskegee is filled with pictures of, Booker T. Washington and the students building those buildings that we still held classes in. He also spearheaded the Greenwood community. So we all know about Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? So Tulsa, Oklahoma has the Greenwood community, but that Greenwood community was actually modeled after Tuskegee. We have a Greenwood community as well. So Booker T. Washington actually physically went down to Tulsa, Oklahoma to help them with um, the very beginnings of that project. He also was a major person in getting funding for Tuskegee as well. So um, whenever he went on trips to different areas, he got the funding for Tuskegee Normal School to continue to expand. Um, he believed in casting your buckets where they lay and strapping yourself up by the bootstraps and getting things done for yourself. So, do for self is what he stood for. So, that means that we don't have to go out and work for other corporations to make them rich. We can do what we need to do ourselves, create our own community ourselves, and uh, barter with each other if necessary, create our economy with each other when we need to, um, and really create everything that we need to survive ourselves and be self sufficient. And that's one of the major things that I learned from Tuskegee and from Booker T. Washington um, and his work. And so that's what I carry with me today in, creating Black Dream Camp. Booker T. Washington really laid out the whole blueprint. And so just following that is just amazing.
Thank you for that lesson. I'm sure a lot of people are going to appreciate that. You gave a lot of like great examples of just how amazing and how much of a genius, like you said, Booker T. Washington is. Um, Inspirational, girl. I don't know everything about that. Okay, I wanted to get into this, right?
Mhm.
As a woman, what, what, what do people say? What do people say about what you're doing? Like I think it's really dope, and I think I'm sure that's why you captivated me when I first met you. Like,
Yeah,
yes, I like that. Okay, So what do people say? What have people said about you being
yeah, definitely. I get a mixture of things of what people say. We could start with the bad and go to the good. So with the not so good, it's a lot of doubt. Like people are like, you can't do that. You know, you're not strong enough to do that. You're not a man. Where'd you even learn? Like you need a man to do that. Like just go sit down and things like that. Also, because I am more masculine, people are like you're off balance a little bit. Like what are you doing? Like don't you need a feminine job? Don't you need to find something feminine to do? And yeah, and even with Black Dream Camp, like I'm so far I've been like building the structures. A lot of times I'm out there by myself, just building this cabin, and so people are like, "You didn't really do that," like like they're not believing me, and so with that, like I I just shake, those kind of comments off. And so like I know I have confidence in myself. I know I did that, I know I'm doing this. I know, what skills I have. I know I'm strong and things like that. So those kind of comments don't really phase me at all. Um, and as far as the good comments goes, a lot of people are inspired too, which is amazing. And I'm so thankful, for the people who are inspired, because I've gotten comments saying that I've changed people's lives for the better, and encourage them to get up there and go for their dreams, um, and that they know that anything for them is possible as well, um, and that there's some other women who are interested in construction as well, and they were afraid to go into the field because they weren't sure what people would say and think, and now they have the courage to do so and to go into the field, um, and so it opened a whole new door, a whole new realm for them, and I'm so happy and thankful for that too, because construction is really it's a really good industry because we can build anything that we want to build, um, and yeah, yeah, I've gotten, just a mixture of things, and but I'm, grateful for it all just to be on this journey. So
I know what it's like. I mean, I don't know what it's like in your, regarding your industry, but I can know what it feels like to be doubted and just people gonna say what they're gonna say.
yeah,
But
for
kudos
real.
for continuing on with it. So you're from Sacramento. That's what's up. That's cool. I like that. I'm from LA, so it's like I like it that we're both like from like the similar time, kind of like polar, but I don't know. I went to State University, so I got to like spend some time up north a little bit.
Yeah,
So, what was it like for you growing up in Sacramento, and what part of Sacramento did you grow up in?
yeah. So I grew up in a neighborhood called Meadowview in Sacramento. So it's like the hood in Sacramento. Um, so growing up in Sac was very cool. To me, it was very cool. Um, like I loved my neighborhood. Just hanging out with the homies, my friends. At the park, just getting into whatever we wanted to get into. But it was definitely fun. Very communal. Um, all of us like in Sacramento were very close knit. Um, all of my family was in Sacramento. Some of them moved to Atlanta now, but we were all in Sacramento. Like all my family, we stayed in the same neighborhood and everything. Like my grandparents were right up the road, my cousins right up the road too. Um, so it was definitely fun. Felt like a big community. Um, and but yeah, growing up, I saw like different things. My cousins were in a gang, so that was very very different. I never was, but it had its good and its bad. But um, growing up, I really saw what I wanted to be like, on my mom's side of the family, like um, the real estate, the investing and things like that. But also I saw what I did not want to be like. And that was like coming from my more like immediate family, like mainly so I'm an only child, but I haven't like been an only child like the whole time. So when I was like 3, from the ages of 3 to like 6, we opened up my house to be a foster home. So we took in my cousins who were actually in foster care. And so that was interesting. Um, I saw a lot of like drug use. A lot of my family are on drugs. Some of them passed away due to drug use now. So yeah, like I said, I saw a lot of what I didn't want to be like. Growing up, I had to take care of a lot of family members who were, coming home drunk as hell. Like, I don't know if I can cuss on here, but um, yeah, who were drunk and just on drugs, and I had to like, witness that, take care of them when I was at a very young age. And so that really made me mature more, like at a younger age, more than I was supposed to. I was like hanging out with some of my family members, and they would just, be smoking, just doing all types of stuff, and couldn't drive us back home. There was a lot of that. And so I just made a pact to myself, like I would never be like that. I would never like put myself in a circumstance to where like I'm just, living below my potential, to where I'm just giving myself to like drugs, alcohol, um, and things like that. So I think not even just positive motivation, but also like negative motivation is a major indicator for me, because that really truly fueled me into wanting to be somebody. Because I know that I am somebody, because I don't identify with, negativity. I don't identify with, being on drugs. I don't identify with, just begging, for money. So I had to decide who I wanted to be. Like I saw two different types of lanes and I had to choose one. And so like I chose like the real estate lane, because that's positive. That's really creating a legacy for myself. Um, and I saw myself as that.
Oh my goodness, beautiful. Oh my god, such a powerful person. I knew it. I knew you were, and I'm just like, Okay, you're talking about your upbringing, man. Who did you have though that you were able to like just sound off things that you were going through to? Because you know because
That's um so I didn't really like vent to anybody like what I was going through. Like I really held a lot of things in, because like honestly my mom would tell me, the things that she's going through and like vent to me, and I'll like, console her and things like that. But as far as me, I didn't really have an outlet. Um my friends even would tell me the things that they're going through, because they were going through like the same things I was, with their parents, just um, on drugs and things like that. So it wasn't really anyone I can like vent to like relay any of the tension off. But as I got older, like I realized that that is like has been an issue, that really has caught up with me, into the fact where it's like so easy for me to sweep things under the rug, to where like I'll forget that they're there, and then like a trigger can like form, and like, I just start reacting and like don't know why. But lately I've really been unpacking like a lot of, things that have happened to me, and figuring out like the source of like where this stuff is coming from. And now I'm like really thankful that I do have I'm starting to get, that kind of community where I can like vent and get things off of my chest, to but for so long I didn't have that. And so it does take some getting used to, and like the trust factor and things like that, like just going through like how to trust, how to how to be vulnerable was a big thing for me, especially like I'm just, still learning this too. Like in 2020, 2021 is when I really like started to learn how to be vulnerable, and, like just tip the iceberg on that. Um, and so it's still like a long journey, but yeah, growing up, I didn't, let anything off of my chest. Now, but myself and, my parents were starting to talk about like the things that have happened. Um, and I'm starting to let them know like the kind of like guilt that I've had for so long of different things. I thought like things, even like I thought drug use was my fault. I thought, different things were my fault. But, it's been amazing. Like, my mom was like, no, like nothing that has happened, has been your fault. Um, and it's just like, just things like that, like just learning that trust and that vulnerability and that it's okay to get that stuff off of your chest and to vent.
No, that's so real. My mother had to tell me the same thing. Like, Kamerie, it's my fault. You were a baby. 'Cause my personal story, not to be into my story, but just I feel like I was raised by a good family. My parents, I call my father, my grandmother, his mother.
Yeah.
Um, and my mother, she was doing her thing, you know. I said she was a hot girl, which, my mom is my best friend now. I got closer to her when my grandmother passed in college when I was 19. Me and her finally were able to like form our relationship
Yeah.
because I was very similar to you in which I didn't talk to nobody. I always had one friend on campus and we wouldn't really get too deep. And I was more of a writer. So I think that's
Mhm.
what helped me become so in tune with like myself is that I always would diary or just write in my journal, diary, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I know I've struggled with that for sure. And have even lost relationships because I refused to be vulnerable. I was like, I'm not doing it, because I was scared. It's scary, but were you gonna say something?
Yeah. Yeah, just afraid of like if they're gonna judge you or not, or like they're gonna like tell
Leaving.
people like what you're telling them. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, definitely have been there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what has death taught you about life?
Mm. What has death taught me about life? That to enjoy it, you know, to enjoy the journey, because no matter what we're going through, we're still alive. We still have breath, and that as long as we're alive, this is part of the story. This is a part of the journey. We're here to feel the sadness. We're here to feel the joy. We're here to feel like all of the senses that life brings. If we're only feeling joyous, then are we really like living? We're just this complete being. And so what death also taught me about life is that it's not the longest thing. um so we need to make the most of it, the moments that we can, like reach out to people that we can. um just like we were saying, just be vulnerable, be honest, because you never know what like a person could be thinking, what they could be holding on to. So you want to like make sure you set things like straight, really. um what death has taught me about life is that there's so much out here to explore, there's so much out here to live. um and we don't have to box ourselves in. You don't want to live your whole life and just in one neighborhood, in one circumstance. You want to explore the mountaintops, you want to explore everything that life has to offer. Um, because, people's day are coming, but we want to experience what we can while we're here.
Beautiful. And what does happiness look like to you?
Mm. Happiness now is definitely different than what happiness used to look like to me. But happiness now is community, is having people around me that I um genuinely care for, that um that we support each other. Happiness to me looks like just being able to relax, being able to just sit and be, and without having to stress about like bills, without having to stress about where an income is going to come from. Um, yeah, happiness to me is just being out in nature, just being, living, do whatever I want to do. Um, just the simple things of life that nothing can buy. Happiness to me is just very, very serene. Um, because also, like, I don't want to, chase a high. I don't want to chase, like, oh, like, always going for the next big thing, because that always runs out. And so, yeah, happiness to me is just being, without any like type of, chasing anything. So,
Oh my gosh. Okay. So what is off the grid? What is glamping? Can you tell us a bit about what those terms mean?
yeah, so off the grid, so means that we are not tied to the city, county, electrical lines. So like those big major power lines, things like that. You have to pay utility bills to a utility company. We don't have any of that. We are the utilities. So off grid means that we use the sun and the wind for our power source. So by doing that, we use solar for the sun for our electrical, and we can use wind. So they have wind turbine kits that you can put together, like for this very small kind of wind turbines, and that turns the wind into energy that you can use um, for your buildings, your structures, and things like that. And you don't pay anything once everything is like once the solar and wind turbines are set up. So no monthly payments with that. Also, for um, the bathroom and toilet usage, we're about to install what's called home biogas. So it's like where you dig a big bag underground, and you have like a regular looking toilet, but it turns the waste essentially into gas that you can use for your stove and things like that. So you don't have to like use the city's gas. So again, no utility fees or anything like that. For water, we harvest our rainwater, and you reuse water through what's called a cistern. A cistern is basically a big, like 5,000 gallon water storage tank in which water is filtered through to a building, whatever structure you want. And then so you use it for your shower, toilet, and sink, and then that water from the shower and sink is filtered back out through like a water filtration system back to the cistern. And so yeah, so the water isn't tied to a city line, no major city sewage pipes, things like that. And so that's what off grid is, using your own resources to live and thrive and just be like, once everything is set up, you know, that's it. No paying a monthly fee for that, because you're part of nature. What glamping is, glamping stands for glamorous camping. So we all know like regular camping, you set up a tent, like your regular one person, two-person tent. You have a sleeping bag, and that's it. Or you just might be out in nature, with a sleeping bag, period. But glamping has a little bit more amenities to it. So um glamping looks like you can stay like in a small cabin, in what's called a bell tent. A bell tent is like a big a huge canvas tent that can fit like multiple people, like five or more people in one. and it has furniture in there. So with our bell tents, we have queen size beds in them, some tables, chairs, a futon, an ottoman, rug type thing, and it's like really decked out. So it's like your elevated type of experience. Glamping, you can also have showers either in the structures or outside, like in a separate shower house type thing. We have right now we have a shower tent in our toilet, separate from our bell tents. But we have hot water and things like that. So it's a little bit more elevated than, regular primitive camping where you just have like your wet wipes and things like that. Um, but yeah, glamping can look, yeah, either a cabin or a bell tent. They also have safari tents out there, which we'll be getting shortly, in which it is like a huge canvas type of tent, but it has like logs on the outside to frame it. And it has the bathroom in there as well. It's just many amenities. It's like an outdoor hotel situation. So
That's really cool. I didn't know what none of that was. And yeah, both of them sound very necessary for like a lot of people, especially
yeah,
like from the city, being in the city now. Like we have to go to the park, to escape, just to like.
yeah.
But I saw something on your story about some bones or something.
Oh,
Um,
some bones.
yeah.
Yes. So one time, when we were out there building, someone discovered some bones out there. It looked like, I don't know, it looked like a hip or something, like conjoined. I don't know. But it was kind of chewed off. I think it was either someone left that a long time ago, or it was a part of an animal. I don't think it was like a human. But yeah, we're definitely in nature. Definitely in nature. There's like coyotes out there, and elk. A lot of different types of animals are out there. So yeah, we've been discovering like quite a few things. So like just learning foraging, is one of the biggest things that we've been learning, and major like survival skills. Um, but but yeah, it's a lot to discover out there, definitely.
Yeah, that was cool. I was like, oh my gosh. That's cool. That was a big bone I saw too. What, right?
Yeah.
The Let's Build Tuskegee project about. What's the
Yeah,
goal?
so hmm?
Oh, I said, what's the goal with that?
Yeah, so Let's Rebuild Tuskegee. I founded that in 2016, when I was a student in college, and so that stemmed from the purchase of my first house and the renovation of that. And so when we started like doing more and more houses, I decided to make that a nonprofit, and so that way we could really do like really good work in the community. So yeah, with that, we renovated about 12 houses in Tuskegee alone. And yeah, it was just us students and alumni working together on that project. And with Let's Rebuild Tuskegee, the main mission is to um, create housing for students and low income people. We still run it in Tuskegee, and then now I've expanded it to Arizona as well. Um, so yeah, in Tuskegee is to create housing to promote the knowledge of real estate investing among students and alumni, but students especially, because when you're young is a time to start investing in real estate when you have like minimal bills and things like that. Um, And we really wanted to just make the community better than we left it, to make sure that students can perform their best in school. And in order to do that, they need housing, they need somewhere to stay that's adequate. Um, and then so now that I've expanded it to Arizona, I expanded it to Arizona in 2021. So with that, it's the same thing. We're promoting housing, promoting construction. So we have construction workshops, but this in Arizona is teaching off grid. So teaching the off grid construction components of how to build using the earth, how to build using natural resources. And we are a 501c3. We got our 501c3 status in 2019. And so with that, we can, get like donations. We can get a lot of different resources with that to really transform different communities. And actually, we're looking to expand it to LA as well. So that way, it'll be in Tuskegee, Arizona, and LA. And so Tuskegee and LA will be like the on grid type of, housing solutions and construction teaching, and Arizona will be off grid. So, yeah.
Wow, I was gonna ask you what was the vision, but I mean, you pretty much kind of told a little bit about what the vision is for Black Dream Camp. Is there anything else you want to share about it? Your vision for the future?
Yeah, definitely. So, the vision totally is we are a 20-acre up and coming holistic community. With that, we have 5 acres dedicated to primitive camping now. We have 5 acres dedicated to um, glamping, glamorous camping. And so we're building that phase out right now. And starting June 30th, we'll start on our agriculture phase. So we have acres dedicated to just growing food so that we can really be abundant and live off of the land. Um, and we have the floor plans to build 16 different houses so that whoever wants to stay there can. We have like that kind of blueprint of what that entails, how people can, get into those houses and things like that. And then we also have acres dedicated to entertainment. So we'll be building a stage with a VIP lounge and things like that. And so that way we can have concerts, festivals, things like that, like really bring like a Black Coachella feel to it. And then, the glamping is right there. So, you have your concert and you stay right there on the land. So we want to be all inclusive and have everything that we need as a community as a whole. So, our food, like everything, all in one. Uh, and we want to be like an event center, event hub. So like if people want to have yoga classes there, they can. Any type of event like outdoor lecture series, things like that. Just make it a really inclusive community.
I love that, Aleeyah. That's really inspiring. I'm not gonna be the same after this interview. So thank you. Okay, we're coming to the wrap up our interview shortly. What would you tell the younger Aleeyah with the wisdom you have now?
Whew. What would I tell the younger Aleeyah? Keep going. Definitely keep going. Your life means something. You mean something. You mean a lot of things to a lot of people and to yourself. Um, you are not small. You can do this. You have everything that you need to keep going. Just keep pressing on.